Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Beyond a crisis, that's how a former immigration minister describes the worsening situation with illegal immigrants. His comments come as new shanty towns and safe houses are popping up. Bertha McDermott gets us started tonight.
Former Immigration Minister Brent Simonet says the immigration issue in the Bahamas has passed the point of a crisis, while warning the situation will only worsen if the can continues to be pushed down the road. But that's not all. Simonet says it seems the country doesn't recognize we're faced with a crisis.
If you sit and look at, let's go and take a look at Sandilands Primary, for example, and look at the children who are going there. Look at the children who excel there, and then check their nationality or their original nationality. You'd be surprised.
His comments come after immigration officials discovered the farm shantytown on Abaco grew by an estimated 200 acres since Hurricane Dorian. Following the operation, Immigration Minister Keith Bell promised a crackdown on that island, but days later he told reporters a safe house was found on Abaco, harboring migrants of different nationalities. Simonet, who served as Minister of Immigration under two Free National Movement administrations, is suggesting a clampdown on work permits.
So I think in Cayman you have a limit of a certain number of years for all work permits. I think it's for all. And in order to come back, you have to go from, let's say, a gardener to a horticulturist. So in other words, you can't come back in the same economic or the same work permit bracket. Maybe we should try that.
He says while he was a cabinet minister, the cost of work permits increased, but he says that wasn't a deterrent. He added there is the issue of Bahamians not wanting to do certain jobs, and it's not an easy task.
So we either have to stop them coming in, limit the number that come in, or reduce the time frame they have to come in. That politically is going to be a difficult task for any government. Did I succeed? I think I tried. I didn't succeed. The volume is horrendous.
Now to that shantytown issue in Abaco, Simonet is questioning how a shantytown can grow by an estimated 200 acres and no one noticed.
In the days of drones and planes flying to Abaco, and we have a defense force wing and a police wing, that boggles my mind, to say the least.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bertha McDermott.
Thanks for that report, Berthany. Well, for the second time in a week, police in Grand Bahama are trying to identify skeletal remains. Police confirming the discovery in McLeanstown over the weekend around 6 p.m. Saturday. Officers took a track road near the eastern end of the island where the remains were found. Those remains are now at the Grand Bahama morgue awaiting identification. But even at this point, they cannot say if it's a male or female given the level of decomposition. Now, just last Sunday, the decomposing body of a man was found in bushes near a secluded beach on the northern end of Grand Bahama. At the time, all police could only say he was wearing a multicolored underwear. Both investigations remain open. A man is dead and another is in hospital tonight following a double shooting incident. The incident unfolded shortly before 4 this morning outside a business establishment on 6th Terrace off Collins Avenue. Preliminary reports reveal that the men had just left a business establishment on 6th Terrace and were in the area of East Avenue when the occupants of a gray vehicle opened fire on the men, hitting them multiple times. Now, officer in charge of crime management, Assistant Commissioner of Police Kenwood Taylor, addressing media on the scene.
Information received to the police was that 2 male victims were shot. Upon our arrival at the scene, we would have observed 2 victims suffering from gunshot wounds about the upper extremities. One of those victims was taken to the hospital by ambulance. The other succumbed on scene.
Now, the 34-year-old victim is known to police. The Our News team understands the victim's name is Adrian Knowles. Taylor says he was out on bail for a murder that took place back in 2016. He was also wearing an ankle monitoring device. This is the second incident in recent weeks where persons being electronically monitored have been the victims or suspects in shooting incidents.
I am concerned because once we do our due diligence and these persons are charged before the court, we would hope that they would remain in custody. But they have another avenue going before the Supreme Court and being released on bail.
A spike in respiratory illnesses among young children has doctors advising parents to be on the lookout for symptoms that may indicate it's time to seek medical help. Christina Dragovich tells us more.
Cold and flu season making a return at the start of the new school year, now with a rise in respiratory illnesses. General pediatrician Dr. Sherelle Lockhart works in both the public and private healthcare systems, where doctors are seeing younger patients being admitted to hospital with serious symptoms.
We're seeing a lot of our toddlers and infants, as well as neonates, coming in with increased respiratory rate, coughing to the point of vomiting, fever, runny nose, all of the things that look like a regular cold, but a little bit more.
Last week, the Pediatric Department of Princess Margaret Hospital issued an advisory on respiratory illnesses, noting the illness presents with fever, cough, and runny nose, and can easily be managed at home. However, if there are certain signs of respiratory distress, it's time to seek professional care.
If you find that your kid is breathing so fast that they can't eat, can't speak in sentences, are coughing to the point of vomiting, then that's the time when you need to seek some medical help.
Doctors say the spike is linked to the reopening of schools.
It's really just siblings kind of bringing it home to each other. So the younger ones who are not going to school are getting it from their siblings that are actually in school.
But there's no need for alarm. Dr. Lockhart says cold and flu season is upon us.
Maybe we forgot a little bit of how many respiratory illnesses we do have at this time of the year. It's normal for us to have a number of respiratory illnesses at this time of the year, but I think maybe the 2 years of COVID has made us forget, so now it feels like a big deal.
Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovich.
Thanks, Christina. Beautiful sunny skies in the capital today. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with our current conditions. Greg?
Thanks, Natalia, and happy Monday evening, everybody. Pretty nice evening outside our studios right now. Temperatures comfortable 81 degrees with a few clouds. Your winds out of the northeast at 9 miles per hour. And your field side temperature very comfortable 85 degrees on the outside. Satellite-wise, we do have a frontal boundary that's stationary across the southeast Bahamas. There's a low-pressure system that's basically trying to form to the east of that along that boundary, but an upper-level trough is actually interacting with this. That's keeping showers and thunderstorms mainly across the southeast Bahamas and east of our area. Dry air mass with high pressure keeping us a little quiet across the northwest and central Bahamas. And we do have some spotty showers that popped up with some wraparound moisture associated with that low to the east of us. That high pressure will continue to push out towards the east, and that system to the east of us will actually move out, and it's expected to weaken. But we will watch that. National Hurricane Center giving a slight chance for formation of something out there. That's a quick check of weather. Stick with us. A look at the tropics, and your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is cleaning the island up with dozens of derelict buildings identified for demolition. But first, a 62-year-old San Salvador woman in court today to answer to charges of stealing on that island. Plus, it's one of the largest cultural events so far this year. Organizers of the popular Food Fest explain how the event went and some of the challenges. That's coming up when our news returns. A 62-year-old San Salvador woman will go on trial early next year to answer charges of stealing more than $95,000 from the San Salvador Post Office. Eva Sands in San Salvador faces 2 counts of stealing by reason of employment. During her arraignment today before Magistrate Kendra Kelly, prosecutors allege she stole the $95,000 at different times this year from the Post Office, which also serves as the bank. Sands denied the accusations in court. She was granted $12,000 bail on the condition she checks in weekly at the Coburn Town Police Station. Now the trial gets underway next February. Derelict buildings in the heart of Grand Bahama continue to be a vexing issue. Many of them eyesores, hazards, and even avenues for criminal activity. Our Jamila Mizik spoke to the VP of Building and Development Services at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, who says the GBPA is working to address the ongoing issue. Here's that report.
Derelict buildings, not the prettiest sight to see, and as natural disasters and economic challenges continue to impact Grand Bahama, the growing number of these structures remain a challenge. Vice President of Building and Development Services Nakira Wilchcombe says the GBPA has been relentless in their fight to rid the city of derelict buildings.
The process normally entails us as a department, the Building and Development Services Department, doing assessment of these buildings, ensuring that they're actually structurally sound or unsound, and once that is determined, then we'd also seek an independent structural engineer to do a further assessment before we begin the process of moving towards demolition.
However, she says the process is sometimes vexing.
When we are trying to move these buildings forward in terms of the demolition process, some of the owners then would stall the process by seeking legal intervention.
Wilchcombe says there are about 60 to 70 buildings they'd like to see demolished in both residential and commercial areas.
In some cases, persons are deceased, and so we're going through estate issues, and so it's a multitude of different challenges that come to us as a result of trying to really impact this area.
But what is the policy in place to hold building owners accountable for the upkeep of the structure?
Many times we've been stopped as a result of persons finding these buildings or assessments finding these buildings to be structurally sound, and so that has put sometimes a stop in our process. And so this legislation seeks now to give us a little bit more ammunition to be able to actually execute.
And when it comes to making the buildings aesthetically pleasing, she says a little goes a long way.
So even if little improvements can be made to make these buildings more appealing, that would be something that we would like to see.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Missick.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, why the co-founders of Canoe Pays say they are proud of the strides made at the recent Cashless Food Festival. The details when our news returns.
Plus, coming up in sports for this evening, Team Bahamas takes the victory in the Alive Beach Soccer Cup. Ladies finishing third. We'll give you details on that. We'll also tell you how a major tournament coming to Grand Bahamas high school sports makes its return. That's coming up in sports.
This is Our News. Welcome back. It's one of the more coveted events on the social calendar. The widely popular International Wine and Food Festival is back with a new venue and a new way to pay. But how well was the Collins House venue and digital pay platforms received? Well, it depends on who you ask.
We were able to bring a festival that people thoroughly enjoyed. I think that Shirley Street was a bonus, because people passing along Shirley Street saw the festival, turned around and came back.
After a 2-year break, President of the International Culture Wine and Food Festival, Janet Johnson, is pleased with the return of one of the biggest events on the festival calendar. And while some festival goers were happy to have it back, others complained of long wait times and limited parking.
If we have to have it there next year because the Botanical Gardens isn't ready, then I think more people will come on board. They saw how the care that we took, and they recognize that the festival is something that Bahamians love.
Sand Dollar and Canoe Pays provided the cashless platforms, another first for the festival. There were also mixed reviews, with the younger patrons embracing the digital platforms and others complaining about navigating the app. Co-founder and chairman of Canoe Pays, Nicholas Reese, says he and his team are still analyzing all the weekend data.
The site itself presented logistical challenges. We identified that particular issue, and we were able to implement overnight technical solutions that eased the burden, that got people in quicker, that actually completely eliminated the need for persons to stand on a line to fund their band.
COO and co-founder of Canoe Pays, Kamani Braithwaite, was able to share some encouraging statistics on volume.
During less operating hours, we had greater efficiencies because we had more people on hand to load digital wallets, and we saw more than double the number of Sand Dollar transactions in less hours.
The Bahamas national beach soccer team defending home turf as they win the Live Beach Soccer Cup on Sunday. Meanwhile, Grand Bahama gearing up to host a school basketball tournament. Here's Marcellus Hall.
All right, thanks, Natalia. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. The Bahamas Football Association hosting the Alive Beach Soccer Cup this past weekend. And they said, well, if we're going to host it, why not go ahead and win it? And that turned out to be a pretty good idea as they put up a pretty good match on Sunday as the championship game rolled around. The men walking away with the title. Let's take a look right now and see how they got it done. The Bahamas hosting the Live Beach Soccer Cup this past weekend at the Beach Soccer Stadium located near the Sidney Poitier Bridge. 4 teams in town for the event, including the host squad, Bahamas. They also Turks and Caicos, Colombia, Trinidad and Tobago, and Costa Rica joining the host squad in action on the men's side. And boy, what a good ending this would be for the Bahamas Championship night. Bahamas getting a huge win here as they get the victory in the championship game. 3-1 ends up being the final score. Outstanding performance for the Bahamas as they take down Colombia in the championship game. 3-1 ends up being the final, and good performance, as you mentioned, for the Bahamas. The ladies, by the way, they finished 3rd overall in the tournament, so a good showing all in all for the host squad. Gavin Christie of Team Bahamas talking about the event.
Yeah, well, it's always a great winning at home. You know, beach soccer has been gone for a number of years due to COVID. Now that we're back, we've come back in style. We had a very, very tough tournament against some very good competition. So for us to come and win not 1, not 2, but 3 games back-to-back against very good competition, it speaks volumes. It says that we are ready for this sport. Well, you know, the game isn't over until it's over. This tournament was wide open because for us, we knew that to win it, we had to win it in order to win the tournament, you know, and so we only had one way. It was close to the end. It was 1-1. Well, they were up 1-0 then almost the entire game. We tied in the early third period, and then we won the game with a minute and 30 seconds left. We tied the game, and then we won it, and then we scored with about 30 seconds left in the game. So it's not over until the end, you know.
Meanwhile, Grand Bahama getting ready to host a basketball tournament, high school basketball tournament coming up. The event, which should be pretty good, will feature a number of different teams from around the island. High school sports definitely back as we hear from some of those involved with setting up the upcoming tournament.
The Grand Bahama Secondary School Athletic Association is once again hosting the biggest basketball tournament on the island of Grand Bahama for senior boys between Wednesday, 26th of October and Wednesday, the 2nd of November. The theme for this year's tournament is Striving for Excellence. Once again, we thank all the coaches, players, schools, parents, and fans who will assist in making this major event successful.
And there it is, a check on sports for you here on this Monday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Italia.
Still ahead on our news tonight, temperatures in the mid-80s this week. Your extended weather forecast is straight ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to our news. Mostly sunny and pleasant conditions ahead this week. Greg Thompson is back in the Weather Center with your extended outlook. Greg?
Thanks again, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody. Tropics, we are going to continue to monitor the tropics. We are quieting down. We still have about a month left, or just over a month left in the official Atlantic hurricane season. The belt is basically quiet, but we are watching two systems, or two areas actually. One just to the south and east of Bermuda that has a medium chance for formation over the next couple of days. So we will continue to watch that. Should continue to move towards the north and west and stay away from us, really. So going to be a problem for Bermuda with a lot of showers and thunderstorms trying to organize with that system. The other system that we're going to watch, there's a stationary front just across the southeast Bahamas and some showers and thunderstorms associated with that upper level trough is enhancing those showers. But the National Hurricane Center will be watching that area for the potential for some formation over the next couple of days, actually nearer to the weekend before we see anything form out of that. That has a low chance for formation over the next couple of days. But the hurricane season not quite over yet, so we are going to continue to watch these two systems out there in the open Atlantic. High pressure behind that is dominating our weather. That's going to continue to keep us rather dry for the next couple of days, mainly across the northwest and central Bahamas. And as this frontal boundary pushes out towards the east, we will continue to see building high pressure across the area through the next couple of days. As I mentioned, National Hurricane Center watching this area near Bermuda, medium chance for formation, and it will continue to move out and stay out there in the open Atlantic, not really posing a problem for anybody at this time. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. We have some swells out there, so we're asking you small craft operators to use some caution. North to northeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. The seas will be running 2 to 3 feet over the ocean, but they will be up to 5 feet, mainly along Atlantic exposed shorelines. Your high tide will be at 7:48 tonight, but the central and southeast Bahamas, caution fly for you guys down there as well. Verbal winds at 5 to 10 knots. Your seas 1 to 3 feet, but they will be up to 5 feet along Atlantic exposed shorelines. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your 7-day forecast, quiet weather, spotty showers in the forecast, but high pressure will be building in across us, and of course we will continue to watch that system to the east of us. Should parallel the Bahamas and continue to move north and west and away from us, but nice conditions expected over the next several days. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night and have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for our news tonight. To stay up to date with all of the latest news, visit ournews.bs. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.